question is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not. There are three major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion, and Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those three things are antithetical to the West. In a Muslim majority country, most Muslim majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad. In most Muslim majority countries, you do not have the same robust freedom of religion protections. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam. And the last thing is at the forefront of this. You have the Marxists that have infiltrated your government and the Islamists that are coming to your country. And when they combine together, they both agree on one thing. They have huge disagreements on a lot. They hate the West.
There is nothing that Charlie said that is racist, that is hateful, that is Islamophobic, whatever you want to call it. First of all, I reverted to Islam when I was in high school because I believe in God. I've always had a hard time viewing Jesus as God. And in Islam, you don't view Jesus as God. You view Jesus as a messenger. However, even within Islam, I disagree on the fact that they believe that Jesus wasn't crucified. Perhaps it was because I was raised Christian. I don't know, but I do not believe that. I wholeheartedly do believe that Jesus was crucified, and I believe that he did rise from the dead, and I believe that is another miracle of Jesus. Islam does not agree with that at all. I also have other disagreements with Islam. For example, in Islam, a man can get married to 4 women. However, when it comes to concubines, a Muslim man isn't limited on how many concubines he can have. And concubines are women sold into sex slavery. Now, there is a long history between Europe and Muslims and how a lot of Muslims used to raid coastal areas of Europe. They would put Christian women into sex slavery. They would separate the children from the women and raise the children as Muslims. And they will also enslave the men. Even when it comes to Christopher Columbus, a lot of us are taught that Christopher Columbus wanted to go to India. However, Christopher Columbus wanted to go and create an alliance with Genghis Khan. And he was a Mongol who was pro-Christian. When he wanted to create this alliance, he had to go through Muslim territories. That's why he went around Muslim territories. However, in American school systems, we're not taught about the whys of why Christopher Columbus set out to go to the East. And I find that to be awful. I am for teaching Christian history, American history, white European history, Black history, Native American history, Latino history, because all of that ties so much into what America is. And you cannot talk about America without talking about Islam and how Muslims were enslaving Christians. And a lot of the Protestants that escaped Europe, they were escaping not only prosecution from their own rulers, but also from Muslims. All of the slavery and all of their towns being raided by Muslims. Even as somebody who is a revert, who is Muslim, the whole concept of you incorporating Islam into everything, that is essential to Islam. Islam is not just a religion, it's a way of life, and it's a way that governments also operate. And that is very, very important to Islam. So what he is saying is not wrong. It's not racist. It is 100% facts. I want to be able to practice my religion, but in a nation that actually values everybody's religion. When I look at the world, I am extremely happy that I live in my country. I love my country because of the history. I love my country because I am Native American, multiracial. I love my country for so many reasons, for its constitutional rights. As Americans, we have the duty to protect our rights, even if the threat is coming from within.